Hello, this is Deborah Carmona here, doing another short video on a specific facet of making sock bunnies. I have today two forms that so far they have no gender, and I'm going to assign them gender today. And the reason I say that is because I do the boy bunnies differently than I do the girl bunnies. You'll notice that they're different sizes. They're actually made from a pair of socks. I guess I stuffed this one a lot more, and so he's bigger. His head's even bigger. This is going to be the boy, and when I stuffed him, I actually gave him a little more in the tush here, and I also made him a little extra wide here because I really want it to be wide, not because I want a fat bunny, but because I'm going to make arms here. And I want to, so I added extra stuffing right on the sides to make him a little wider. Men and boys, they like to stand with their hands in their pocket. So I'm going to be sewing it down like this to make it look like his hands are in his pocket. And that is why he is stuffed a little fatter. And I think I put a little bit more on his head. This is made with a men's crew sock, and the heel is the nose. I really love the shape of the head when using a crew sock, and I really got his ears to stand up pretty good too. And since I've started doing the feet, but he can stand up by himself. Isn't that awesome? Because he's perfectly balanced. I want you to see his profile. See, his tush sticks out. I mean, he could have a little bit of a belly, but it's not too bad of a belly. His legs are skinnier, and his little toes stick out. I'm gonna put clothes on this guy. See, my bunny in a tutu, she looks so pretty in her tutu, and she looks dressed and ready for Easter. Well, I want this bunny to be dressed for Easter as well. So I have a really awesome idea. You're gonna love it. It's so clever. And that's another reason why I want his arms look like they're in his pocket. Well, you'll have to see the next video. It's gonna be awesome, and they'll be a wonderful pair together. He's ready now to sculpt the hands, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. For sculpting, I'm using hand quilting thread, and I'm using a fairly long needle. So I have my thread needle already threaded, and the reason I made him wide is so that he has enough room to have the main part of his body not to be too skinny. When I used the tube sock and it had the ribs, it was too tight, and it would have been too skinny, and it didn't work out, so I did his arms differently. But this is a nice soft sock, and you can stuff it a little fatter, and that's so that I can get my arms. So I want to have shoulder, and you have to consider the width of the arm. So I'm probably going to start right about there. Would be like in his armpit. So I'm going to insert my pin, needle, and I'm going to come right back through very near, but not the same place. Make sure it's a different place. And I do have my thread looped, so I can go through that loop. And I'm just going to sew straight down. Not anything too complicated. This is just an easy way to make arms without having to cut the sock. I can't wait to get to the vest. It's going to be so awesome. He's going to look dressed for Sunday morning church. I'm going to give him a bow tie and a vest, and I'm going to use this type of, I think it's taffeta. It's really stiff kind of fabric. I've used it before in making a dress for a costume. You want to make sure that the arm thickness is about the same. I might consider making an elbow. I'll think about it. The last, I think the first bunny I made, I did it like this, except I didn't stuff it enough. And plus it wasn't as soft of a sock. So that's why I really like the loosely knit socks, so that it's got a lot more flexibility. See, he's still going to be fat enough. Okay. You know, it might be a good idea to put a little bend in his elbow. I'm gonna definitely consider that. I could have his arm come across like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll do it. So I'm gonna take a big jump up down here, and I'm gonna come back up in the same hole so I can kind of bend his arm a little bit. Go back practically the same place. Just want to reinforce that little bend. Okay. All right, I gotta lay it down like this. I need to be able to see it. Can you see? You have to see on both sides. Well, he might look like he wears a big pair of pants, but so I'm just going a little bit further on the back so that his arm will look like, see, it's starting to bend. Each stitch is coming just a little bit closer to the front, so as I try to make this arm look like it's bending. Looks kind of straight on the front, but the back, and I'm not going to do the whole arm. You know, if I wanted to, I could just have his arm straight down. I could actually carve it so that it looks like that. That would be one option. But I really want his hand to be like in his pocket. I'm not going to put a little end on it. So I do want it to get a little bit narrower. Oops. And let's see, I think that's probably good. So his pocket would be right about there. I'm going to bring that forward just a little bit more right there. So I want it to look like the hands are a little forward. It's just a slight elbow. And yeah, wrists would get a little bit smaller, so we can make it just a tad bit skinnier. Kind of coming up in the same place on the front, on the high side, and going just a little bit lower on the back side. There, I think that's good. I don't think I want to go any further because I want his hand to be inside of his pocket. And I'm not going to come around that. All I'm going to do now is just put a knot. So see his shoulder, his elbow, and it comes forward and it gets a little bit narrower right there. So that looks like a pretty good shape. Now I'm just going to take a little stitch to make a knot, leave a loop, and my needle goes through that. There's our knot, and then I'll just come out on the other side and we'll cut it, and then we'll do the other arm just the same way so that he will have his hands in his pocket, his arms down to the side. I'll come back when that is done. I have to come back because I want to make sure when I start this off, I want to make sure it's the same width. I want to make sure that it's straight across. I start in the same place. And you want to check the width. So where's my end? through the loop. And we just want to follow the same pattern just on this side. See, he still has this upper part of his chest area. It goes with his head. He does get a little bit wider down here, and that's okay. He just has a bigger bottom. It just gives him a cute personality, don't you think? He's going to look adorable with his bow tie and vest. Now, to learn how to make the bow tie and vest, you'll have to see the next video. Feature coming soon. Okay, I'm going to finish this. There, our boy bunny is done. Isn't it great? The way his arm kind of leans forward, so it looks like it's in his pocket, and he has such a wonderful bunny shape. I mean, if he were down on his all fours and hopping around, his back end would be a little bigger. And I like the width of it here. It goes with his head real nice. And he's just a bunny that's standing up like a human. So it's sort of realistic, but yet a little bit whimsical, I guess, because I've made him stand up upright like a human. But he still has that bunny shape. Isn't he great? I just love his shape. I think he looks great. And I like the way his arm comes forward. And he's perfectly balanced, so he stands up all by himself. There's no trickery here. See? And it helps to have those big feet. Oh, one thing I do differently now, because this part is so big and stretchy, is instead of a circle, I actually cut this more of an egg shape. So it's a little narrower at the heel and a little wider at the toes, so that I can make bigger feet. Because if he has big feet, it makes it easy for them to stand up. He stands up on his own 2 feet, which means he's a well-balanced bunny. So there you have it. 2 Easter bunnies, male and female, so that you can make a bunny appropriate for your child, grandchild, or great-grandchild. And you will be able to follow the instructions from all the various videos I have on my YouTube channel in the playlist called Craft Projects. Now, if I wind up having too many sock bunny videos, I might just change the playlist to just sock bunnies only. But do subscribe, and I hope you have fun making your bunnies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see what other projects I come up with.